So, hey everyone, welcome to our Dairy Foods office hours, kind of our summer office hours. So it's going to be a little lighter today. I think everyone is kind of out of school or almost out of school. I know my kids are done tomorrow, and then we'll be ready for summer fun. So today, what we thought we talk a little bit more about is maybe a little less around food safety, but kind of give an overview, because I think not everyone is aware of the Northeast Dairy Foods Research Center here at Cornell. So kind of give an update on, what is the center? What is the research that we do? What is some of the education and outreach that we have going on, just to kind of give a little bit of perspective. And so with that, and then we'll open it up to questions around, the type of research we're doing and things like that. So let me, I'm going to share my screen then, Beth. Yeah, thank you. Everybody should be able to see that, right? Thumbs up. Great. All right. So the Northeast Dairy Foods Research Center. So we were established back in 1981. I can get my clicker going here. By Dairy Management Inc., which is supported by over 37,000 dairy farmers, right, through funding from Checkoff. We were originally built in collaboration with the University of Vermont, though Cornell has really become the forefront organization kind of running the research for the Northeast Dairy Foods Research Center. And we're one of these 6 centers supported by DMI across the country. There are 5 others, one at North Carolina State University, one at the University of Wisconsin-Madison called the Wisconsin Center for Dairy Research. There is the Midwest Dairy Center, which is kind of an agglomeration of a few universities based out of the University of Minnesota, but also works closely with Iowa State, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and Kansas State universities. Then we have the Western Dairy Center, which is kind of based out of Utah State University, but also works closely with Oregon State and Idaho State University, and sometimes with the University of Washington. And then we also have the California Dairy Center, which works with a wide range of universities in that state. Now, the Northeast Dairy Foods Research Center, our mission is, 3 main focuses: to enhance the quality, safety, and sustainability of the dairy foods that we produce here in the New York and the Northeast. We're here to educate and support the dairy workforce, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about some of those programs. And we're also very interested in seeding dairy innovation and entrepreneurship to grow the dairy industry and drive change. Now, a lot of this work, right, takes a large group of people. So there is a number of faculty who are involved and spearhead the research going on here at the NDFRC. And so, and I'll talk a little bit about it, but there's about 10 faculty. Sometimes there's others that come in and out and may do research on other foods, but then come in and do some research on dairy. But this is kind of our primary cohort here, with hundreds of years of experience in dairy research represented by this group. What are some of the areas that we focus on? So sustainability is a big focus for us. How do we take dairy byproducts and reutilize them to drive value? How do we reduce things like methane emissions on farm? How to, understanding how consumers relate to sustainability and what that means for dairy. We have a lot of work in the health and wellness space around, what are the, interesting components of milk that have, bioactive properties that might be better for health. Looking at, low caloric sugars that we can make from some of our dairy byproducts, the impact of dairy on the microbiome, and things like that. We have innovative technologies, like how do we apply these new concepts like precision fermentation or novel encapsulation technologies to derive new products in dairy. We look at novel dairy beverage processing, snacking technologies. We also do a lot of work, foundational work on food safety. And then a growing arm area of research within the department or within the center has really been digital agriculture, and how do we apply these novel technologies to help us understand the data that we're getting from dairy and then really develop inferences and models that can help us then improve our dairy systems. I'm going to kind of touch very high level on a couple of examples of some of these types of projects that are going on within the research center. So for example, the chair of our department, Professor Dr. Carmen Moraro, has been doing a lot of work with this novel technology called microwave vacuum drying, and its application in dairy processing. And so you can kind of think of your microwave, right? It is a more advanced system. The microwave doesn't necessarily always dry or heat uniformly. And so there's a machine that has been designed to do that better. And then because it's drying under vacuum, it can provide better drying characteristics to different foods. So if you see here some of the work coming out of her lab, and let's see if I can play this little video here. You can see this is what the inside of the microwave vacuum dryer looks like. The samples get put on these trays and it spins around to distribute the heating. And they've done work at, taking different dairy substrates and making, high value, high quality milk powders, taking cream and dehydrating it, and then showing that when it's dried this way, when you rehydrate it, it comes right back, kind of like a butter, which is really amazing. And there's also done work on taking cheeses and creating type of cheese puff products. We also have some projects looking at yogurt, which is all pretty interesting to make these kind of novel snacking goods. And we'll see where that keeps going. We have other researchers like Dr. Abby Snyder, who does a lot of work on microbial quality and safety. And so her program, which is just really kicking off, really focuses then on how do we control spoilage in a variety of food products and dairy. And so her program focuses on how do we build better diagnostic tools, how do we apply molecular technologies like whole genome sequencing, right, real-time PCR to help us better identify spoilage organisms. And then what do we do with all that data? We collect all these data from our dairy products. How do we collect that data in a meaningful way that we can then mine it to make, better inferences and better decision-making on our dairy products so that we can reduce spoilage? And then how do we improve testings in labs? Another example of some of the engineering technology is from Dr. Sai Rizvi in the department, who does a lot of focus on a wide range of processing technologies. In dairy, he's been specifically focused on high pressure extrusion using supercritical CO2, liposomal delivery system using dairy ingredients, and then cryogenic freezing again with supercritical CO2 to create novel frozen products. And again, just to give you a little bit of a high level taste of what that can kind of look like. You can see here with his extrusion technologies, they can also make these different types of cheese puffs that you don't get that browning. So these are high protein cheese puffs, which is what makes them unique. A lot of the cheese puffs that you see in the market are made from carbohydrates, starches, and things like that. This is protein, and so it's an excellent source of protein, high value, very little damage to the proteins. He's also done some work again using dairy ingredients to make delivery systems. And the last piece on that supercritical CO2 cryogenic freezing technology, they've been using that to basically make instant ice cream. So imagine a Keurig coffee machine where you put in the Keurig cup, you press a button, and out you get your coffee, and a few seconds later, this you just put in your milk, you press a button, and a couple seconds later you get your ice cream. And so here you can see this is an ice cream that shoots out of the machine. They've also done things with sorbets, with water, right, to make kind of like a nice little effervescent icy solution. And they have a patent on this technology and are working on figuring out how to commercialize it. But these are some of the cool things that are going on the processing side. Not to toot my own horn too much, but as I mentioned, there's a lot of work going on how do we upcycle dairy byproducts. We make a lot of things like acid whey from Greek yogurt. We have milk permeate left over from ultra filtered milk. We have whey permeate left over from cheese, which is this kind of toxic Avenger kind of green that at this point has no protein left in it, but has a lot of lactose. How can we convert that lactose into value-added things? So we look at a lot of fermentation technologies and see how we can make things like alcoholic beverages. kombucha type beverages, specialty sugar powders, to then kind of take these waste streams, derive value from them, and improve the sustainability of our dairy system so that we make sure that we're not just throwing them away. That's kind of on the research side of things. More on the quality side, another important component of the NDFRC is our partner program, the Milk Quality Improvement Program, which is funded through the Dairy Promotion Board and dairy farmers here in New York State, which really works at helping New York State dairy processors improve the quality of their dairy products by having active monitoring of the microbial and sensorial quality of their products over time, and then going in and when there are issues around quality, really helping these plants troubleshoot these challenges and improve and maintain the quality of New York State milk, which is, the best milk in the country. Some of the research that goes on there also, that identifies novel problems. So, for example, recently, Dr. Nicole Martin had a project where they were looking at thermogenic bacteria, so bacteria that can survive. They're not pathogenic, but they're quality, right, spoilage organisms that can survive pasteurization and high heat. And while they were doing this work, they stumbled upon an interesting contamination event where they found this microorganism called Microbacterium that was surviving through the process. It wasn't a spore former, which is what we typically see as a thermotolerant bacteria. What it turned out was that they were very heat resistant and they were very small, so they were able to pass through some of this membrane filtration that they had been looking at, and they exhibited, again, high heat tolerance. So this was something that hadn't been reported before, and so now we're going to work on having a better understanding on how this bacterium might actually impact milk quality, and then how do we then control for that. So those are kind of some of the cool findings that we have coming out of programs like MQIP, really advancing our knowledge of dairy quality and spoilage. Besides research, right, one of the other key components of the NDFRC is really education and support so that we can build, right, and maintain the dairy workforce here in New York and the Northeast. And so we have a very active certificate program, which allows you to specialize in about 5 different tracks. So it starts off with the core courses that focus on things like basic food safety, pasteurization, and the foundational dairy sciences. And then you can specialize in different tracks, whether it's cheese making, yogurt and fermented dairy product making, fluid milk processing, ice cream, or membrane technologies. You take those specialized courses. Then there's an advanced set of core courses on leadership, documentation, and environmental monitoring programs, and then a high-level advanced course that kind of lines up with the track that you're interested in. And of course, you can do multiple tracks. And when you have completed these set of courses, you then get a certificate of completion for that track. And we've had a number of people come through the program, and then you can renew that certificate by making sure that you're engaged with the industry, whether it's through attending meetings, taking other dairy workshops, or attending regulatory training at the state or national level. And we provide these courses, right, online, in person, and also in facilities for 2023. You can see that we offer them across a wide range of modalities, whether it's purely online and self-paced for yourself, whether it's hybrid online with Zoom. So there's you're still not in person, but there is live interaction with the instructors. Then we have some hybrids that are partially online, partially in person. You come to Cornell, or we come out to the plant to teach the part of that workshop. We have some that are completely online but live, and then we have also a staple of in-person workshops that are done at Cornell or other locations around New York State. This year, we've launched a couple of new courses, applied food safety plans, which we just held a few weeks ago. We're going to be running this summer the Dairy Lab Analyst Training, and an advanced cheese grading, I think later this fall. And then it's been a little while since we've taught membrane filtration, and that course will be coming back this year as well. If you can't make it out to Cornell, again, we regularly go out to facilities. Maybe you don't want to send all your workers to Ithaca. We can come to you and we can do implant trainings for a large group of employees, again, on a wide range of topics, spanning from GMPs to food safety to dairy processing. Just feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help you develop and get that training into your facility. We also provide gap audits to help make sure that your good manufacturing practices are up to snuff, or that your food safety plan or HACCP plan will meet the expectations of an external auditor. So kind of just help you prep for those kind of things. A big initiative that we've had that has been funded with support from USDA through their food safety outreach program is that we have an artisan dairy food safety support program that focuses on helping small to medium-sized dairy producers develop their food safety plans and evaluate them as they go forward. And so we have online lectures that kind of focus on the key components of developing your food safety plan, which are then complemented with live office hours, kind of like what we're having here, where we talk about different food safety topics of your food safety plan, and it's open for people to ask questions. And then, have us review documents, things like that. And then we also do in-person training sessions with some of the large dairy conferences that are going on around the country. So this July, we will be holding a one-day kind of food safety coaching workshop in association with the American Cheese Society's conference in Des Moines, Iowa this summer. And then we'll be holding another one in November with the the North American Ice Cream Retailers Association. And their meeting is going to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada. So a fun place to go. And you'll get to see me and talk food safety. If you want to know more, if you go to the Northeast Dairy Foods Research Center website, you can find more on the timing of those workshops and when you can log in for those office hours. And so again, this is kind of trying to provide support, from large companies all the way down to small artisans in terms of dairy processing and dairy food safety. And then outside of our educational outreach and our research, I mentioned that seeding dairy innovation and entrepreneurship is quite important for us. We have a lot of capabilities here when it comes to our dairy pilot plant, where we can help you scale up benchtop ideas. We do also have opportunities to work with various labs, right, to do things like shelf life testing, microbial quality testing, whatever is needed on that side of things. We do a lot of focus again on workforce development through the education to kind of also encourage people to get into the dairy sector and develop innovative products. And we've also worked on helping to commercialize a wide range of different dairy products, right? Again, from concept to market, whether they're things like Big Red Refuel, which was a chocolate milk designed to help athletes refuel after a workout. We helped working with Old Chatham Creamery and Murray's Cheese develop Stalking Hall cheese, which was the first New York cheese to win the gold medal at the American Cheese Society's the contest, which was a huge win. We also taken some of our byproduct fermentation work to develop novel alcoholic products based on dairy into the market. We have some fun innovation competitions going on right now. So we have the Northeast Dairy Product Innovation Competition, which was launched in collaboration between Cornell, the NDFRC, the Northeast Dairy Business Innovation Center, which is based in Vermont, and the Cornell Center for Regional Economic Advancement called CREA. And the idea here was that it was focused on helping people interested in creating novel dairy products kind of at this experimental stage here, where they're producing products at an at-home kitchen. They don't really have much sales, or they're beginning to take their prototypes to a very early scale market, but they need some help further developing those ideas, testing them. That was kind of the target there, and they had to be located in the Northeast with plans to utilize milk from the Northeast. And so these companies submitted their ideas, and they were judged on the concept and execution of their product, how innovative it was, how viable the business model was, how much dairy ingredients they were using, and how valuable it was to consumers. So this contest kicked off at the start of the year. We had applications close March 31st. This April, we selected our finalists. Right now, they are now here at Cornell and working with coaches to further develop their business plans and their prototypes. And then on August 8th, we will have kind of a Shark Tank competition where these 10 finalists are going to present their finished prototypes and their business models. And then 3 will be selected as winners. And then those 3 winners will get cash prize, and then they will be showcased at the Grow New York Summit in November. We'll have a specific dairy innovation showcase where investors will get to meet with these companies. And then hopefully the following year, these companies will submit and hopefully compete in that larger Grow New York competition. The finalists that we have, the 10 finalists from across the Northeast we have Bell and Goose Cheese Company. They're based out of New Hampshire, and they're working on a marinated feta cheese. We've got Lulu Ice Cream out of Vermont, which is making a goat's milk gelato. We have Maia Yogurt out of Connecticut, which is making grass-fed yogurt for kids. Maple Valley Farms out of Vermont is making a saffron maple yogurt. We have North Country Creamery here in New York doing a semi-hard pasteurized cheese. We have Oakfield Corners Cheese, also based out of New York, that are making Mexican-style cheeses. We have Spout out of Connecticut, which is making a pre-made brown butter product. So we'll see how that all comes out. Terra Firma Farms out of Connecticut, which is making a ready-to-use premium ice cream base that can then be sold at ice cream parlors across the Northeast. We have Naturally Golden Family Farms Co-op out of Pennsylvania, which is making an all-natural dairy-based coffee creamer. And then Very Good Yogurt out of New York, making a sugar-free savory yogurt. So those are our 10 finalists. So you got to tune in on August 8th to really hear their pitches and see who the 3 winners are. Now, the other kind of innovation platform that we have going on is called our Dairy Product Runway. Okay. Now, this Dairy Product Runway is a program that's based on the National Science Foundation's I-Core model, which really helps early stage entrepreneurs kind of develop their ideas and identify what their initial product concept should be and who their true customers are, to then kind of gauge that initial viability and then start to develop a business plan for a scalable product. So this is kind of pre-experiment stage. It's this targeted really more to this concept stage, and the idea is to recruit either farmers that are looking to develop a value-added product idea, for a dairy farmer, or again, students or early stage entrepreneurs that want to jump into dairy. So they help them flesh out that idea. And then after going through this program, they'd be ready then to compete in something like the innovation competition that I had mentioned before. This Dairy Runway, we opened applications for this competition on May 1st. The application closes June 26th, so just around the corner. So if you're interested in this or know somebody that is, I highly encourage you to get them to apply. If you go to dairyinnovation.org, that website will have a link to the application process. The participants for the program will be selected on July 1st, and then we were going to run this virtual training program based again on the NSF I-Core model, July through August. So I highly encourage people to look into that. Thank you for dropping those in the chat box. And then that kind of leads us into those are kind of the 3 areas that we're focused on. The NDFRC really focuses on, developing cutting edge dairy foods research that will help, improve the quality, safety, production and sustainability of dairy products here in New York and the Northeast, providing, education and workforce development and support for innovation. And with that, I hope that was an informative, high level introduction to the NDFRC if you haven't been familiar with it, and happy to take any questions around the research or other areas that we're working on here at the NDFRC.